I want to ask you, Seconds Out is obviously a YouTube channel, a fans channel, and it's a popular one, particularly when I'm on. But that's beside the point. But it's free.
Yeah.
I, like everyone else, pays a lot of money to watch Sky Sports every month. We've lost the tennis to Amazon. And it just seems that every decent fight now is on pay-per-view. Do you not think that, in an economic way, is boxing an inelastic product for these fantastic bouts? Surely the fans shouldn't have to pay such fees, such sums, considering they're paying already to watch these fights. There is an argument for that, right?
I think we've got to be careful with this because, there's so much money in boxing now that the big fights, the major fights and the ones we call the sort of starry events really can only be made on box office. And it's not just Sky. You're looking at BT have entered the market hugely. ITV did as well. And yeah, we were on our own for a while. But then obviously when boxing went through this, halcyon period, this huge increase in interest, everybody wanted to get involved, and it's become very competitive in that market. So that's part of it. I also think that we work very hard to ensure that the quality on Sky Sports, not just in boxing, but in all our outlets, whether it's football or cricket or golf, and we cover, a whole Formula One, a whole wide range of sports, and recently the influx in women's sport, in netball, in NBA, in GAA, rugby. There's all sorts of other sports we do, which is a package sort of deal. So it's not, fight fans. It's not just the boxing fans that come into Sky Sports. It's that they're provided with a lot of other stuff as well. But we work very hard, Eddie and I and everyone on the boxing team at Sky work very hard to make sure that the Sky Sports fights are as good as they can be. And to have Kell Brook, who's a big name, and Scott Quigg recently in a great fight with John O'Carroll on Sky Sports, that's what we try and do. We've also brought Next Gen shows in. We've got a fantastic fight, if that goes ahead, between Terry Harper, who's a great news story, and Natasha Jonas, the first time ever that two British women have fought for a world title. That's going to be great in Doncaster. We've got a May the 9th event that's been announced with Lee Selby and Joe Cordina and some cracking fights on there. March 28th, if it holds together in a couple of weeks. That's a fantastic fight between Kelly and Avanesian with Joshua Boatsian and Conor Benn on. So I think we're still giving great value for money. Lewis Richardson fights the week after. We try very hard to make sure that Sky Sports fights are huge. We give obviously, stuff to Facebook, to YouTube, to early on in evenings, so that we can give as much value for money, as much free thing. We've obviously gone into the YouTube market with the YouTubers, with KSI and Logan Paul. So, we're adapting and we're trying to change times with everything else, but it's also a business and we've got to look at that. And, we're trying to give value wherever we can. And, there's Sky Sports News and SkySports.com, and we see it as a whole sort of package. And we try very hard to make sure that, those events are very strong, and that when we do a Sky Sports box office event, we choose very carefully when that happens, and we try and give it that extra stardust, that extra sprinkling, that extra build-up. We work very hard to give it a special quality, so that people who choose to pay for the events, and not everybody chooses, it's your choice, will get, we think, a great build-up and a fantastic night, and something which is very important. But obviously the fighters need to earn their money, and I think in this world where DAZN have entered the marketplace both in the States and now they're coming into the UK, and there's PBC and Fox and Top Rank and huge organisations around, there's a lot of money involved in boxing now, and that's one of the reasons why Sky Sports box office events are the creme de la creme, and Sky Sports events are as strong as we can make them, and it's really important that we continue to do that.
One last question, Adam. It's very straightforward. Who are the top 5 heavyweights in order for you in the world right now?
That's a difficult question. Look, you've got to say Tyson Fury is as the recent king of not only Vegas, but what he did against Deontay Wilder was absolutely superb. It was incredible, and in a way he's stolen the mantle, or he's forced himself to get the mantle at the moment. But, Anthony Joshua might have lost to Andy Ruiz, but he went out to the desert and, he rewrote the wrong. He got it right. He boxed absolutely superbly. So, and he holds more belts than Tyson Fury. So, Most people would say Tyson Fury is the number one, but I don't think you can say Anthony Joshua is not number one when he's come back and he's regained his belts and he's a two-time champion. And until they fight, I don't think we can get the answer to...
Those are your top two?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be. You've got to say Tyson Fury, after what he did, is everybody's probable choice for number one at the moment. But don't forget Anthony Joshua, who's just, reclaimed his belts in Saudi. He holds belts. So you say Anthony Joshua's got every argument to be number one. So let's say they're joint number one for sake of argument.
So then you've got three beneath.
Because they're going to fight. Three beneath. Deontay Wilder's one defeat. You had a bad night. He's pretty much knocked every single person out. He's got more power than I've seen from a one shot since the days of Mike Tyson, and before that, you're looking at George Foreman and Ernie Shavers. So in terms of power, maybe that power has got him out of jail a few times. But you've got to say Deontay Wilder, Dillian White has got to be there as well. And then, you're looking at an Alexander Usyk, he's untested at this, but he's got to be there or thereabouts. A Kubrat Pulev, are you looking at is it too soon for a Dubois and a Joyce? There's so many out there on the sort of periphery. Yeah, but I think you've got to say the top four, no question, in whatever order you put them, is AJ, Fury, Wilder and White. I mean, Dillian will think he's higher than that. Deontay will think he's still number two after Fury. Joshua will think he's top of them all because he's had a tougher ride. He's fought better opposition. That's what he'll say. Tyson Fury is probably in boxing most people's pick for number one at the moment. So, yeah, I think the key is that they're all great fighters and we've got to see them fight each other. The best thing that Fury and Wilder have done have fought each other twice. They're going to fight again a third time. There's no question Joshua corporately and globally is still the sort of shining light. But what Tyson Fury's done, his story has been unbelievable. And I'm a massive fan. He's where he's come from at 25, 26 stone and come back. It's an incredible story. It's an absolute inspirational story for so many people out there. So I like the fact we've got two heavyweights, two British heavyweights, who are totally different characters, totally different fight styles, holding all the belts. That's going to be the biggest fight we've ever made, and it will happen.
Well, only on Sky Sports box office, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Adam Smith, thank you very much. Lovely to see you. I'm going to pump elbows and say thank you very much.